Don't procrastinate on your healing. So this is a video for people who are procrastinating and know what they should do in terms of healing some patterns in their lives, but they keep procrastinating. They keep thinking that they can do it later, or the feelings can be so heavy that they don't even want to deal with that. And I think that this video can be a reminder to stop doing it. So, by starting off, I can tell that every single person on this planet has some healings to do, whether it's for relationships with their parents, or just in general, some things that trigger them, that bother them. And you may also notice this too, that in your circle of friends, in people that you know in your life, they just don't like to do any single work on them, and they even don't have any idea what even healing means. And they choose some patterns all over, all the time, and they are not even aware of it. For example, someone can end up from your friends on every single relationship of them is with the same type of man, just with different names, and they would just blame it on destiny, or they would just blame it on life. And when you just tell them, you have a pattern in your life, you have to acknowledge it and heal it, then you will start to see other types of people, other types of men. But there are some people who just refuse to believe, who refuse to acknowledge that this type of things exist, that this is not just some sort of destiny in their life. This is something that is a pattern, and they need to heal that. So because we don't want to be one of these people, and if you just click this, you have some sort of idea about that, you have knowledge, all the knowledge about that, or even you have a little knowledge, but you believe that you need to heal even a little bit, even try to heal, to become better, to manifest better, to feel whole, to level up in your life. You know that healing is something that each of us should do, especially if, depending on person, the wounds are much stronger than the other ones. For people who know they just have to deal with it, they just have to heal, but they keep on procrastinating, this is for you. So I have been the person, and sometimes I can be that person, that in certain area in my life, it can be finances, it can be personal, it can be relationships, I know that I have to heal, but because that situation doesn't make my life that unbearable, that uncomfortable, I just like sometimes to ignore all those feelings and just live in comfort. But a year or two or more can pass, and some situation can appear, and it can just slap you in the face, and you on that time just realize that if I just started my healing, I would have dealt with this better, or that situation reminds you that this healing thing won't go away. So imagine it, I always like to imagine it as if like there is a huge amount of dirt in some part of your body, and you just don't see it and you just ignore it. But just like showering, that we all need to take a shower, and the dirt won't go away without water. The dirt in our minds, the fog inside our minds won't just disappear if we don't water it, if we don't clean it with the right techniques, with the right work. So please don't ever think that if you just ignore your feelings, if you just work hard, I know so many people do that, they just work hard and ignore all of their feelings, all of the things that need to be acknowledged, then it will just disappear. No, it won't. And by the way, I'm not talking about the healing that means that just to overthink and to try to fix every single detail in you. No, I'm talking some things that are daily triggers for you, but you just don't want to acknowledge them. For example, you see somebody who just has a healthy relationship with their mother or father, and you just get triggered with that. Or when somebody makes a comment to you, even jokingly, like doesn't want to offend you, and you instantly get triggered almost each day of the week. Like, um, you just instantly get triggered, you just want to defend yourself. All of these examples, and there is a pattern that you recognize that constantly is happening, then this is the part when you're like, okay, yes, maybe I have to acknowledge this. Maybe there is something that if this happens like 5 times a week, then this is a huge part of my life. This is a huge thing that I have to deal with. And maybe in your life there are some fields like personal, in terms of relationships or in terms of finances, there seems to be no growth, or you feel like nothing is happening. But in other fields of your life, like for example, you live in a good home and in a nice home, or you have good friends and you make money that just makes you have to like make the ends meet, but you know there you can do more, but there are some things that are not healed, and you just feel like these feelings that if you would dealt with them, they would be so strong and so unbearable that you would feel like, no, no, I can't just deal with this, and you don't even want to process them. This won't just go away, this won't just disappear. 10 years, 20 years from now, that feelings maybe even be stronger because you just didn't do anything for that. So please, please, please don't procrastinate on that. I'm saying based on my own mistakes, because I also did that, and I regret it so much because there is a specific thing that I didn't deal for 2 3 years, and it still comes back. And right now, for almost like 4 months, I've been just working on it and see all the changes. But because it was such strong and such a problematic thing for me, I just couldn't deal with the pain of it. I just didn't want to deal with it at all. I was like, how am I even supposed to deal with it? But no, because if we have this problem, if we have this thing that we developed since childhood or in certain part of our lives, then there is a reason that we have it. And if we don't deal with that and become old, we don't know what we could have done if we have done the proper healing. We could have lived more fulfilled life. We could have met better people, made more money, be closer to your friends, finding new friends, so many things. But because we just didn't want to acknowledge it and just deal with it, this just makes us stay in the same situation all the time and just be stuck. And also by not dealing with your issues, this can also like affect on your health. If you have built up anger, this can be affected on your health, on your stomach. Built up fears, anxiety, this can also like affect on your health, on your gut health, and on so many things, because everything is connected. So you are doing a disservice to yourself by not doing the work that you know that you should do. If this video sparked a little bit something in you, then let's just say some general things we can start with if you haven't even don't have any idea how should I even start. So therapy, of course, is the number one thing that I would recommend. But of course, if you can't afford right now therapy, then there are so many other ways you can do that by just reading books about your issues, by watching there are so many great videos on YouTube, watching content on YouTube, and just getting to know more about your issues. The next thing is also like journaling and just asking yourself the questions that you know that you need to ask. For example, if you are somebody who has relationship issues, maybe you can just ask, what are your triggers? Why are you getting triggered by this situation? Maybe, for example, it can be in terms of like even friendship, not only like romantic relationships. So you feel like you don't have any friends, and when you see group of friends who are so happy together, you get instantly jealous, envious, triggered. So you just write, why am I triggered? Because you feel like you can't have it. Why can't I have it? Because a sort of thing happened with me when I was a child. Somebody came to me and said, you know that you are a person that is just so boring. I wouldn't be friends with you, and that just triggered you, and now you are insecure. So acknowledging these things, after that comes like methods that you can do. For example, you can start to talk yourself, like mirror work. So mirror work is something that you look at yourself in the mirror and talk with yourself as if you're a friend. Tell yourself all the things that you feel bad about, and just be sort of a comfort for yourself. Acknowledge your feelings and not making you feel bad that you have them. The next thing that you can do is this practice that I really like to do is close your room so nobody would see you, because this is a private thing, like each step of this. And just take a chair and put it in front of yourself, an empty chair, and just imagine that on the chair that you have put is sitting the version of yourself who has this issue that you are struggling with, and try to be the comfort of that person who is standing across to you. So just start to talk and ask questions and try to make that person feel safe, and also try to hear some answers from that person who is sitting beside you. So this is such an healing experience, and if you do this practice, you would start to realize during your day, during your triggers, your patterns more, and to be not so emotionally reactive. So this is also an amazing way to help yourself. And besides that, what you can also do is just to try on meditating, doing breath work, like meditating and just thinking about your feelings, thinking about all your triggers, and just sit with them, not to fight with them, just acknowledge them. I also wanted to mention breathwork because it is a really helpful practice that you can do. And I have this amazing breathwork session that I do that is on YouTube. I will link it down below, and I really feel so amazing after that. My anxiety calms down. Also, many people really like EFT tapping, so you can just search up EFT tapping also. And besides that, what you can also do is asking close people on what I get triggered on. So only ask this to the people that you completely trust, that they are super close to you, that they don't take your vulnerable moments for weakness, and just ask them, like, you know me well, and what do you think is the thing that I can trigger, or what is some trait in me that you kind of find toxic? So this is such a huge thing that helped me, because in my family I can ask that sort of questions and always get honest answers, and they help me in terms of working on myself, on bettering myself, and becoming less emotional, less toxic in some sort of areas. So this is the video that I really wanted to make, because I think that each of us have some things that we just avoid, like for example, you know that you have to go to the gym, but you just avoid it for years and years and years, but your problems won't go away, your back pain won't go away. This is the same thing, but what makes it worse that you don't see it physically, and you tend to forget on your happy moments that I need to come back to this. I need to come back to this healing stuff. And of course, I want to mention again that this is not about being a person who is like an extremist, constantly trying to bettering themselves in a not healthy way, because this is what can also happen sometimes. There are people who just want to over analyze them. This is not about that. This is about being healthy within your mind, making your mind a safe place for you. So also, like, in terms of healing, if you are a believer, whether you have a religion or not, talking to God, talking to source can also help you tremendously, because you can get guided to so many amazing practices, to meeting so many amazing people who can guide you, who can help you in this journey. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, don't forget to click the thumbs up. And I really enjoyed making this type of kind of peaceful vibe video. See you in next video. Wish you the best, the best, the best. Bye.